Hey, everybody, it's Kaylee, teacher of finances. So, whatever you're doing right now, I need you to stop and I need you to listen to this 100%. I'm fixing to throw you some fire and I need you to listen to it with everything you have in you. Like, it can literally change your life. I'm telling you, I'm typing up the notes and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, how much it's changed my life. So, if you're watching this live, if you'll drop me a one in the comments, that'd be awesome. If you catch it later, drop a two. At any time throughout this live or this video, if something is valuable to you, just drop value in the comments so then I know like what is reaching people, and I would just greatly appreciate that. So it's Thoughtful Tuesdays. Thoughtful Tuesdays, we talk about like mindset tips and things that's going on in life. And so today I want to talk about the impossibilities. So making the impossible possible by changing your mind. So first off, stop saying it's impossible. Like, it's impossible to start a new job. It's impossible to save for my future. It's impossible to change the dynamics of my family. Blah, 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 blah. It's possible. So stop saying that already. Impossible is one of the biggest failure words that you can use. The first time you say it, like when you say it's impossible, you're done. Your mind's done. As a classroom teacher, this is one of my pet peeves. It drove me insane when my students would say, "It's too hard. I can't do that. It's not possible for me to do that." Yes, it is. Can't, never, could do anything. And I said that to my kids all the time. And most of the time, it got to a point where they would finish the sentence for me. So when you're saying you can't, you immediately shut your brain down. You're giving yourself the okay to shut that door and walk away. Do you really believe that you can't do whatever the task may be? Having a traditional mindset to just do the same thing over and over and over is not using your creativity of your brain. Okay? It's almost like making yourself have a disability that you don't have. And let me tell you this, when we come to talk about disabilities, here comes my special education side. But even if you do have a disability, that doesn't mean you lack the ability to do something. It's a title that's given to people that are different than others. Okay? I always tell my own kids, so I tell our children, that there isn't anything wrong with people that have disabilities. Our brains work a certain way and they process a certain way. And my brain works very similar to theirs. But when someone has a disability, practically it's saying their brain works differently. They process things differently. It doesn't make them dumb, it doesn't make them incapable. So when you're saying the impossible, what you're doing is you're trying to put something on yourself saying that you can't do that. Like the society over time has made it to be expected that if you have a disability, then you're not able to achieve success. And that you're not able to achieve the same thing as a typically developing person. And that drives me insane because that's not true. So I have a student, I wanted to kind of share a story. I have a student that was in my class. And when he came to me, he was learning his letters and sounds in the first grade, which is okay because we have students that do that, right? But I talked to mom the other day, and at Christmas, he's now on a second grade reading level, comprehending second grade, everything. And this baby's on the spectrum, and like at certain points in time, she just, people weren't sure what he was going to do. But because he has done, certain things and they've worked hard on it and everything, he's achieved it. And that's my point. It's just because somebody has a disability doesn't mean that they can't do it. But if you live your life the way society looks at it, then it's a little, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And so, are there times that it's harder for students with disabilities? Absolutely. Okay, but do they have to work harder? Absolutely. Do we have to change the accommodations and make the situation a little bit different for them to achieve successes? Yes, but it doesn't mean that they can't reach the potential. So, sorry, I got completely off. So it doesn't mean that they have to work harder. Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't mean that they're learning, like you have to fit the learning style. So whatever your learning style is, then you fit it and you make it work to that child. And it's the same thing in life. And so I got ahead of myself. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. So why am I even going into this depth? Why am I talking about it? Because I just can't understand why we don't apply it to our lives. What is it, that, like what I'm getting at is if there's something that you see that others are doing and you want to do it, but you feel like you can't do it, it's not because you can't. It's because you're not trying and you're not allowing your mind to let yourself do it. So if you want to be rich, you would be rich. But wanting and doing are two different things. So why do we try to achieve so many goals and fail at them and then just say it's impossible, I quit? Instead, what we need to do is we need to take the approach like we do in special education. We stop, adjust our situation, we make the accommodations, and then we try again. So General Motors has a motto, and it says, progress is our most important product. Just because you don't achieve success the first time doesn't mean that you can't do it. So sometimes it takes noting that you've achieved progress and that you've made a change than trying to do it again until you achieve it. So capacity is a state of mind. How much you do is going to depend on how much you think you can do. So here's an example. When I was teaching, which I had told you guys, I was in a really hot mess of a situation. But the last semester that I was teaching, I also built a t-shirt business. I was working all day in the classroom. I would come home in the evenings, bleach t-shirts, print images, press images, get them on the shirts and get them out the door, and then keep the business going on social media. From November to December 2001, I sold about $5,000 in t-shirts for the holiday season. Now, granted, I wasn't the healthiest at the time because I wasn't sleeping very much due to my workload, but along with my shirts, I was also going to school full-time working on my doctorate's degree, being a mom, being a wife, so on. I was keeping up with my job and everything else I did. And like I said, I needed more sleep, but I survived it. It was because I kept telling myself that I could do it. I knew I could do it. I knew I was tired. I knew I was worn out, but I knew I could do it. I made all A's that semester. I got all my shirts out. I did everything I needed to do. So anything is truly possible. So if you're starting like thinking, so if you're to a point and you're thinking that you can do more and thinking that you have these big things that you can do, and you keep saying that to yourself, then eventually you're going to start doing it. Is it going to be easy? No. If everything was easy, then everybody would have it. And so you have to remember that whatever your big thing is that you want in life, it's not going to be easy to get there, but you can do it, is my point. So I posted some pictures today of my weight loss journey. And let me tell you this, I've been doing this on and off for several years. I gain weight, I lose weight. I gain weight, I lose weight. And literally in November, I had told Colton that I had gained this weight back and I was tired of it. And he said, well, why don't you work out? And I just told him, like, my response was, I just can't find the time to fit it in everything going on in our lives. Did you hear what I said? I can't find the time. So instantly, I shut my brain off to the idea of losing weight and getting back to where I wanted to be. Now, is it easy getting up in the morning before everybody in the house? No. Is it easy putting on clothes and going into the living room and working out when it's 30 degrees outside and it's freezing in the house? No, it's not. Do I like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning? No, I do not. Not at all. But I mean, like in my comments and my notes was, no, quite frankly, some mornings sucks. But every single time I finish another workout, I'm so thankful that I did it. And I'm reminded that the fact that I'm now walking just a little bit further away from that door that I once had closed. And so your mind is so powerful. Literally, it can make you or break you. When you allow, whatever you allow your mind to tell yourself, your body's going to physically end up doing it. So maybe you're struggling with addictions. Maybe you're struggling with unhealthy situations or relationships, and you're not sure how to get out of it. You know you want to, but if you keep telling yourself that you can't stop, that I just can't do it, it's so hard, I just can't do it, you're not going to. But if you start to tell yourself that you can do it, and you're telling yourself over and over again, I'm going to do this, I can do this, I will do this, and make that change, along with, of course, adding positive vibes, finding a crowd of people that build you up, finding positive stuff to put in your mind, you're eventually going to make that change. But it's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen like that, right? So the minute that you decide to step back in that weak moment and you give back into it though, it's going to hurt you a little bit more than it had before, because of the fact that you were beating it. You had got to a point where you thought you could do it, and then when you regress, you're going to be like, oh man, that's really disappointing. And so it's all about the way that you're training your mind to work. So think about how you can utilize your waking hours that you have in the day to accomplish what you have in order to achieve your goals and dreams. or in order to beat whatever struggles you're going through. Sometimes there's going to be sacrifices you have to make. So if that means saying no to a task, or telling somebody you can't go or do something that typically you would do. Now, you also remember that exactly what you're allowing your mind to do is what you can do. So if you're asked to do something that's going to help you get closer to your goals and better yourself, then find a way to make it work in your life. But if it's something that's not going to move you forward on your mission, then you're probably going to have to tell them no. And that's something else that's hard to do. Every choice that you make is going to either help you or hurt you. So you have to be very selective in the choices that you're making every day. If you find that you're busy all the time, is it productive busyness, or is it just being busy to say you did something? So if you feel like that you're so busy, but then at the end of the day you don't have anything to show for it, then you probably need to reevaluate whatever it is that you have going on and make sure that your busyness is a productive type. So in my business, we always say, are we doing busy tasks to make us just feel like we've done something? Or are we doing tasks that are income producing activities that are actually helping us get closer to our goal? So whatever it is that you want to change in your life, do you want to be a better parent? Do you want to be a more positive person? Maybe my posts and my attitude get on your nerves because I'm positive and you feel like that you can't find positive in anything, or it's so hard to be positive. How is she positive about everything? It happens. But newsflash, you can do it too. I've not always been this positive. 95% of my life I have, yes. But I have been the Debbie Downer. I have been the negative Nelly. I've been in that situation. But you have everything it takes inside of you to do what you need to do. Now it's time for you just to go break the change and do it. Tell yourself you can. Listen to something that's healthy for your mind. Read something that's good for your mind, and put it in the forefront of your brain that you'll do it. That's what I got for you today. I told you guys I was on fire. So I'm Kaylee. I'm the teacher of finances. If you got anything good out of this, just drop a value in the comments, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday.